I'm looking to expose the incompetence right here at the Broward County School District.
Man on a mission, a Douglas High father quits the Safety Commission to investigate on his own. Andrew Pollack is with us live.
Fight for control in the runoff for a rare open seat on Miami-Dade's commission. The candidates are right here to debate.
We have to fix the mental health system so that people who are unstable don't get firearms at any age.
The buck stops with Adam Putnam. Will it stop his campaign for governor? Gun licenses were issued without background checks by his office. We're going to take that to the roundtable.
Good morning. So great to be with you as always. And we begin with questions raised this week about school safety, student crime, and discipline.
Those concerns and questions were the focal point of meetings in Parkland this week by the state-mandated Douglas High School Public Safety Commission. This was the second meeting of the Safety Commission, whose members include law enforcement officers, public officials, and parents of shooting victims. But the first order of business was a letter of resignation from one of the three fathers named to the commission.
Andrew Pollack is here to talk about that, why he left the group, and what he is planning. Of course, he lost his daughter Meadow in the mass shooting at Douglas High and has been one of the most outspoken people since. And we are so grateful to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in. So tell us, why did you resign from the commission? Because to some people, it looks like a possible vote of no confidence in that commission.
No, it's not at all. I have the utmost faith in the commission. I have friends, sheriffs on that commission, and parents that I know who lost children also. But the commission is going to go on whether I'm there or not. And I have my own investigation going on, and I want to continue that in that route with myself.
And what is your investigation, Andy?
I'm going into a lot of the incompetency that happened at the school. I'm going to be deposing and interviewing a lot of teachers, students, administrators, and I didn't want to have a conflict of interest with the commission. And I think that that's going to continue, the commission, but my investigation is more important to me. I want to be able to know that I turned over every rock and all the incompetence in that Broward school district possible. Just, you know, I'm interested in it, and I have more in it than anybody. You know, they murdered my daughter in that school. So I'm gonna get to the bottom of everyone. You know, anyone that was incompetent, I'm gonna expose them.
You have, you know, from the outside looking in, you've accomplished extraordinary things that we watch bureaucracy unable to accomplish. For instance, 2 school guards. You walked into the school and said these guards, who there are reports that they just didn't do their jobs, they're out of there, and they're out of there. When you say you're conducting your own investigation, you don't have the kind of subpoena power that the commission might have. You don't have the laws behind you to be able to look into, drill down, get the records. How do you accomplish what you accomplish without that and as an independent person?
Well, I'm going to get all the information that the commission gets.
You are?
Yeah, I could get all of that. And plus, with my wrongful death case that I have going on against the deputy,
Scott Peterson.
Yeah, I'll be able to have subpoena power with that case to subpoena people that work in that school district.
So, well, we saw this week, you went to Marjory Stoneman Douglas High. You said Andrew Medina, the monitor or the guard, unarmed guard who was on duty on February 14th, saw Nicholas Cruz arrive on the campus.
Correct.
And he radioed to somebody else, another monitor, and said, better look out. This guy looks dangerous. We know who he is. But he never called in a code red. A fatal mistake?
Of course. All he had, if he would have just said code red, he walked out of the car with a rifle bag. Okay, we're going to see it in evidence. Eventually, everyone will see it's a rifle bag. He recognized him. He says, that's crazy boy. He had a meeting prior with other security at the school that if someone was going to do a school shooting, it would be him. So all he had to do was could have hid behind a car and just said code red. So to me, him working there was just very disrespectful for me and my daughter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who did you speak to? The principal? Because by the time you had left, they had been transferred. As far as we know, they're not fired, but they no longer work at Stoneman Douglas.
Well, I promised the person that I met with that he would remain anonymous.
Okay.
So for future times when I speak with him, But I went up there and I told him what needs to be done with this person, and he followed through what had to be done. So I respect him for doing that. And the thing I don't respect in Broward County is the school board had a vote, and they elected to have people like monitors, like the Andrew Medina, working at these gates. So that's troubling. And also, how do they not just go fire this guy? How do they reassign him? So now there's parents in Broward County, I want them to know, that they're going to put this possibility come the new school year that this Andrew Medina is working at their school gate.
And that probably has a lot to do with the bureaucracy of the union and contracts and that kind of thing. That is, it kind of begs a question in the commission meeting this week. The Sheriff Gualtieri, who is the head, the Pinellas County Sheriff, the head of the commission, you know well, he said one of the big questions that they really want to answer was, did people make mistakes, or is the system dysfunctional? Is it an individual mistake, or is it just a system that doesn't work? And probably, to your credit, it's probably a little of both.
I would say it's definitely both.
So then you have someone who you have two, now three people you are actively working to put on the school board, which will address those kind of dysfunctions. But then you have the Department of Education, and you have a sheriff's department in every county or the equivalent. So how do you attack your investigation and fix what is a multi-layered, multi-jurisdictional, bureaucratic mess?
A cancer, that's what I call it, Broward County. Well, how you do it is at a local level, and that's what we choose to start at the school board. So I think we could get rid of, we could start at the school board, put candidates in there that have our ideology of the people of Broward, that want their kids safe, they want better pay for their teachers. So if we start at the school board, we could work our way up, and that's the way we're going to choose to do it in Broward. And those elections are in August, and anyone that lives in Broward that wants their kids safer and to make a difference, you're just going to have to get out and vote in August.
The Broward School Board voted, as you well know, 9-0, not to have school staff of any kind armed in schools, even though the legislature appropriated money so
Yes.
that if a school board district chooses to do that, it could. Is that an issue for you, for the school board?
It should be an issue for everybody in Broward County, because this school board is elects to have, if they're happy with, like Andrew Medina is working throughout the county, then that's what the school board's okay with. Or you could do something what we're doing in Polk County. They're hiring veterans and retired law enforcement to work at the schools. So they're being proactive.
Armed in the schools.
Armed at the school, but they're already familiar with the firearms. They're retired law enforcement. They're veterans, majority of them that are getting hired.
Yeah.
And what's better than that, to put our veterans at our schools and retired law enforcement, rather than some guy that doesn't know how to work a radio or call code red.
So that's part of the Guardian program, which is
Yes.
which is newly funded, more money for Guardian programs in this Marjory Stoneman Douglas public safety law that you were instrumental in helping the governor sign. So by July 1st, there's a deadline for every school to have an officer there. By August 1st, there's a deadline in this law for every school to have a security assessment. We heard this week that schools and districts and the commissioner of the Department of Education, Secretary Pam Stewart, had said, look, these deadlines are just unmatchable. We can't do this. What do you say to, now that your law, I consider this your
Yes.
law, partly your law.
All of us did it.
Yeah,
All the
and
victims' parents
of
were a
course.
part of it.
But what do you
and
say to
I'm
this?
proud to say that.
To this backlash about we can't do what you're asking us to do in the time you're asking us to do it?
I say that that's false, because I've been in Polk County. They're being proactive. I met with Sheriff Grady. He called me over 2 months ago to meet with his school board in Polk County. I met with them. They passed it already 7-0 to have extra armed guards at the school. So they're already preparing for the school year, where Broward County, they could have done it. They're doing it in Polk County. Why didn't the school board do it here in Broward?
Well, the Broward Teachers Union and a lot of other people said they don't want armed teachers or other school staff. Before we run out of time, Andy, I need to ask you, this is an ongoing issue with Nicholas Cruz. Should he go to trial, or should the state simply say we accept a guilty plea for a life sentence? What do you favor?
To me personally, I'm not going to go to the trial, and I'm just going to do what the majority of the parents want and the victims' parents. If they want to go to trial, I'm going to be all for it. If they don't want a trial, then I'm going to agree with what they want.
Yeah,
because
it could
really
be
is not that important to me.
excruciating. Whatever happens is excruciating for you and the other parents and for all those students, even the ones who were not wounded. Anybody on campus that day.
It could take years to go through a trial. To me, I don't
Yeah.
think it's worth it. You know, me personally, but if the parents, my friends, they want it, then I'm for it. But
Andy Pollack, thank you so much for
Andy.
all you do and for coming
trying.
in.
We're glad you
And,
came in.
We'll be in
Thanks
touch.
very much.
thanks, Mike. Thanks.